Hello class, this is Dr. Forbes, and this video covers how to write the group assignment annotated bibliography. First, go to your eCampus course to Lessons and Assignments, Lesson 5, the Argumentative Essay, Group Assignments for the Argument Essay, and then scroll down to How to Write an Annotated Bibliography. What is an annotated bibliography? An annotated bib is a list of citations to books, articles, and documents. Each citation is followed by a brief, usually about 150 words, descriptive and evaluative paragraph, the annotation. The purpose of the annotation is to inform the reader of the relevance, accuracy, and quality of the sources cited. The process. Creating an annotated bib calls for the application of a variety of intellectual skills: concise exposition, succinct analysis, and informed library research. First, locate and record citations to books, periodicals, and documents that may contain useful information and ideas on your topic. Briefly examine and review the actual items. Then choose those works that provide a variety of perspectives on your topic. Cite the book, article, or document using the appropriate style. And for us, this is MLA. Write a concise annotation that summarizes the central theme and scope of the book or article. Include one or more sentences that evaluate the authority or background of the author, comment on the intended audience, compare or contrast this work with another you have cited, or explain how this work illuminates your bibliography topic. The last sentence of the summary should be a sentence that details how the source relates to the essay for which it is intended. If this is your source, then you will write the last sentence of the summary detailing how you intend to use this source to support the ideas in your essay. To get started, discuss your research topic and questions with the other members of your research group. If you have prior knowledge of your topic and already have a basic plan for your paper in mind, share that too. Find at least 2 sources per person in your group and vary those research sources. You might use one internet source, such as a website that you don't access through the library. One database article, this is where you must find this through the Dallas College Library databases. And maybe one miscellaneous source, which is any source type, but try to look for a book, an interview, or maybe a documentary. Finally, for each of these sources, you're going to compose an MLA 8th edition style citation and an annotation that addresses the following questions. What is the source about? Very concisely summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences. What is the authority of the source? And why is it reliable? You might have to use the CRAP test worksheet criteria or assessment to answer this question. How could the source be used in a research essay? What could it support? What is the overall analysis of the source? Is it clear and easy to understand? Is it confusing? Should it be recommended to researchers? Write a concise annotation that summarizes the central theme and scope of the book or article. Include 1 or more sentences that evaluate the authority or background of the author. Comment on the intended audience. Compare or contrast this work with another that you've cited, or explain how this work illuminates your bibliography topic. The last sentence of the summary should be a sentence that details how the source relates to the essay for which it is intended. If this is your source, then you will write the last sentence of the summary, detailing how you intend to use this source to support the ideas in your essay. Let's look at some examples. Here we have an example of Herbert London's article, 5 Myths of the Television Age. This came from the Television Quarterly 10.1 in 1982, pages 81 through 89. Herbert London, the Dean of Journalism at New York University and author of several books and articles, explains how television contradicts 5 commonly believed ideas. He uses specific examples of events seen on television, such as the assassination of John Kennedy, to illustrate his points. His examples have been selected to contradict such truisms as seeing is believing, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and satisfaction is its own reward. London uses logical arguments to support his ideas, which are his personal opinion. He doesn't refer to any previous works on the topic. London's style and vocabulary would make the article of interest to any reader. If this were your annotation, now a last sentence from the person using this source detailing how this source supports the ideas in the argument essay. The annotation begins with the MLA citation of the research source, then the summary, and finally a sentence detailing how the source supports the argumentative essay. If you notice on the example that the next source begins with Griffin, and the first source listed begins with London, remember you will have to rearrange these sources and annotations into alphabetical order according to MLA guidelines. Finally, notice how the annotation or the summary is indented 5 spaces from the left margin. And then when you begin the next annotation, the first line goes back to the left margin, and then everything else is indented 5 spaces from the left margin. If you'll recall, this is called a hanging indent. And here is a Microsoft.com website where you can go that details how to create a hanging indent using MS Word. Remember, you will need to have 2 research sources per person in your group. So if you have 5 people in your group, you will have 10 sources total for the annotated bibliography. Once you've compiled the annotated bibliography and reviewed the formatting, summary, and sentences detailing how the source supports the argument essay, you are ready to submit the paper for your group. Remember, 1 paper per group. To submit, go back to eCampus and log into your course and go to your group homepage. Here you will choose the group annotated bibliography and click on the link. This should be familiar to you. You're going to choose Browse Local Files, choose the saved group annotated bibliography, and click Open. When the name of the file appears, scroll down and click on I agree to submit my papers to the Global Reference Database. No message is needed in the comments area. Click Submit and your paper is ready for me to grade. Note, as before with the CRAP test worksheet, choose a leader for the group to submit the paper. Only 1 person needs to submit the assignment for the group. Another note, as before, this is a group grade. Do your best work. Proofread. Visit the Writing Center or NetTutor if you would like to have the citations checked. Revise as needed, and everyone in the group is responsible for revision. Another note, choose a variety of sources for the assignment. Books, journals, database articles, Google Scholar sites. You don't want to use all the same type of sources. A final note, if you have questions, ask. I'm happy to help. Thanks for watching.